Hello everybody, my name is Emma Freeman and I'm a teacher here at Tech. I work in Campus Monterey and I'm going to be guiding you through this first section of English 6. As you know, this first unit, or block, is called The Intelligent Home, Technology and Finance. And this week we're going to be studying vocabulary related to household appliances. You'll also be studying phrasal verbs in grammar. But this section is going to require you to learn quite a lot of vocabulary as well, so we're going to cover it a little bit in this video. Now, the main objective of this video is for you to be able to hear the words pronounced and practice your pronunciation. So it's very important that you listen carefully to the way that I'm saying the words. One of the things that I'm going to do is put my face quite close to the camera so you can actually see the way that my mouth is saying the words. It's very important that you pause the video after each word in order to be able to repeat and practice saying the word yourself. I do recommend that you actually record yourself saying the word. You can use the voice recorder on your cell phone, record yourself saying the word and play it back and listen. You can compare it with the way that I say the word and keep practicing until you can get that pronunciation as close as possible to my pronunciation. This is a really helpful technique for improving your pronunciation generally. It helps to improve your sensitivity to pronunciation, and it's very important as well that you're making your own notes as you listen. So, for example, you might be able to see here. This is an example of somebody who's taken notes on how to pronounce the word toaster. Now, as you probably know by now, English is not an easy language to pronounce because words are not written the same way that they're said. So it's really necessary for you to have a notebook where you're able to write down the way a word is written so that you can write it correctly, and then next to that, the way a word is actually said, okay? So this can be quite a personal thing. This is just an example of how you might write down the pronunciation of the word toaster. And what you can see here is this person has decided to get rid of the A because it's not really pronounced toaster, right? That A is kind of silent. So they've taken out the A from the pronunciation annotation, and they've also put the TO in bold. Now, the reason they've done that is because the emphasis or stress of the word toaster is on toe. So it's toaster, right? It's not toaster. If the stress were here at the end of the word, it would be toaster, but it's not. It's toaster. In English generally, the stress tends to be towards the beginning of the word. It's very important to listen to where the emphasis falls in words in English. Okay, so you should be ready to pause the video, record yourself, and also make your own notes about how to pronounce things. Okay, so we'll get started. I'm just going to say the words and go through the slides with you. At the end, once we've finished with household appliances, I will be giving you some examples of how to use that vocabulary with phrasal verbs. So listen carefully to the way those phrasal verbs are pronounced as well. Refrigerator. Refrigerator. Notice this is a long word, so I actually put in the emphasis for you. It's right there on the I. You can see that the I is in red and in bold. I did that so that you would remember to place the emphasis or the stress, refrigerator, on the I, okay? Free. Refrigerator. Freezer. Cooker. Stove. Microwave. Toaster. Kettle. blender, food processor, food processor. Again, you've got quite a long word here, food processor. The emphasis is at the beginning of processor, so you would put this part in your notes, you might underline it or put it in bold so you just remember it's processor. It's not processor, right? The emphasis is not here, it's at the front, okay? So food processor, processor. Air conditioning, air conditioning. And again, I have actually put in bold and red that I for you so that you remember that you need to put the emphasis on the ditioning, right? Air conditioning. So this is a little different. It's not at the beginning, it's in the middle a little bit. So sometimes you have to listen carefully to the rhythm of words. Now, a lot of the time you could make this easier for yourself because you could just say aircon, which is a lot shorter and a lot easier to pronounce. Ceiling fan, ceiling fan. Now, a ceiling fan is called a ceiling fan because it's attached to the ceiling. Notice how ceiling has an E and an I in the middle there. That can be confusing in terms of pronunciation. So make sure you make a note, like how do I pronounce ceiling, right? And just make sure that it's clear to you how it's written and how it's pronounced. Heater, heater. Boiler. This is an easy one because it's pretty much pronounced the same in Spanish. Boiler. Vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner. This is not so hard, but you will probably have noticed by now that the V can be quite hard to pronounce for Spanish speakers. This is, it's easily confused with a B, like B for big, right? But V in English has a different pronunciation. So whereas you would close your lips to make the B, big, black, bear sound, when you say vacuum cleaner, you don't close your mouth. You actually put your teeth on your lips a little bit and you make like a vibration. Vacuum cleaner, vacuum cleaner. It's worth practicing the difference between the pronunciation of B and V. It's quite important in English. It's not in Spanish, but it is in English. Iron, iron. This is a really tricky one. A lot of people think that this is pronounced iron. They think of Iron Man, and they say, oh, it's Iron Man, Iron Man. It's not, it's Iron Man. In English we say Iron Man, and we say, for this appliance, we say iron, iron. Now, I have a British accent, so if you were interested, an American might say something more like iron, iron. It's quite similar, it's a little bit different. But in both cases, you notice that the R, the R here, in the middle is not being pronounced as much as in Spanish, right? So you probably want to make a note in your notebook about how you think the best way to pronounce this is, right? Because it's not iron, it's iron, like iron, right? So I'll say it again one more time. Iron. That is quite a tricky one. Washing machine. Washing machine. Dryer. Dryer. Hair dryer. Hair dryer. And hair, not a really difficult word, but can be tricky for some people. So hairdryer, hair straighteners, hair straighteners, straighteners. These are called straighteners because they literally make your hair straight, right? So it's not curly anymore, it's straight or liso, right? So we say straighteners because what they do is they make it straight. The emphasis really is here at the beginning, straighteners. So now I'm going to just read out some of the example sentences. You've already seen these example sentences in your study materials on phrasal verbs. So I'm just going to read them out. It's more just to give you the opportunity to hear the words being said in a natural way. Again, I've put this little note here to listen and repeat. It's a really good idea to just keep pausing the video and trying to repeat the whole sentence, just like how I'm saying it. So instead of just repeating isolated words, you're now going to be practicing the rhythm of a sentence, right? Try to get the emphasis in the same places. Try to link the words in the same way that I'm doing it, right? It's almost like singing a song, right? You're going to practice the way that I sing English, right? So I'll start with the first one. I'm going to turn on the television and watch Netflix. I'm going to turn on the television and watch Netflix. You need to turn off that music now. It is getting late. You need to turn off that music now. It is getting late. Don't forget to switch off the lights when you leave. Can you switch off the washing machine, please? I'll switch off the music when she calls. I'm going to put on a sweater. It's cold. I'm going to put the food on the table now. I'm going to put on the TV. I'm going to put YouTube on. Can you take that pan off the stove? I'm going to take the fish out of the oven. I think it's done. Would you get the bread out of the freezer for me? I'm going to put away the vacuum cleaner in the closet. Can you plug the blender in, please? Don't forget to unplug your phone when it has finished charging. The hairdryer won't turn up anymore. This is the maximum power. Please turn down that music, it's too loud. My car has broken down again. I think it's the battery. The food processor has broken. Okay, so that's the end of today's video. It's very nice to be here with you, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.